Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So this class will be on how to make this beautiful robe that I made for a client. It's a birthday dress. So please thank you for stopping by, and please subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel, and also follow me on Instagram at jstitchesandfashionworld. So guys, this is we've already drafted the pattern. I will drop the link on how to get your basic skirt, your pencil skirt. That is the pattern I used to draft. That's the pattern I used to cut out this beautiful piece. So as you can see, I've already closed my darts on the pattern, so I'm not going to be closing it on my fabric anymore. And I'm using 12 yards of net for this, and I bought 3 yards of doll face for both lining and the main fabric. But if you want your lining to be longer or equal with the two nets, you're going to be needing like 6, depending on your size, to 7 yards if you want to use it for both fabric and the lining. And I'll go ahead to notch my center back, that is the zipper point where my zip is going to stop. I'll go ahead to notch. I'm just trying to place it together. So I will notch for both lining and for the fabric, for the main fabric. I'm going to notch where my zipper is going to stop. So after notching this, I'm going to align it together to make sure that they are equal. Now the next thing I will do is to take out the front piece, and I'm going to join it to the back. Now my center back, I'm going to hold it down on 0.5 inch, since that is what I added for my zipper allowance. So I'm going to sew it with 0.5 inch, and I will join the sides of my skirts. Now note that joining the side at this point is very important. So I'm going to join my skirts at the sides for both sides. I'm going to join the sides. I'll do the same thing for the lining. Whatever I do for my main fabric, I'll do the same for the lining. So I'm just pinning down the center back. And I'll be joining the sides with 1 inch because that is what I added for my side allowance. I'm joining with 1 inch. But for the lining, it will be 0.5 because the lining is not supposed to be tight on you, on the client. Your lining is not supposed to be tight at the main fabric. So I'm pinning the lining part. I used a doll face satin for both lining and the main fabric. So I've gone ahead to join the sides on 1 inch. So I'm going to turn it over. Since I'll be gathering my 2 nets around the waistline. Now I'm just trying to align the sides to be equal. I'll be coming in at the side, that's on the waist. I'll be coming in by my bust apart divided by 2. I'm going to divide my bust apart by 2, and I'll come in by that half of my bust apart, which is 4 inches. Now this is where our 2 net is going to stop. At one side, I'm just measuring 4 inches from the waist, from the side. I'll go in by 4 inches and I'll mark. I'll also mark 1.5 from there. I'll also mark 1.5 from that 4 inches. Now it will be overlapping each other. That's the 2 nets that will be gathering on the waist will be overlapping by 1.5. So one end is going to stop at at the first point. Now if it's coming from the right, it's going to stop at the other point. Now this is what I mean. I'm going to be gathering it from the center back all through to the other line that I drew, that's the bust apart line. And when I'm coming from the other side, that's from the right side, it's going to stop at the 1.5. So I'm going to gather it from there, and it's going to stop at the bust apart. Yeah, it's going to stop at the bust apart, and it will stop there, and I'm going to double it. And the other side is going to stop at the 1.5 I added. So I'm going to be doubling it. I'm going to gather 2. And yeah, I'm using 12 yards of 2 nets for this dress. I bought 15 yards, but I didn't use all the 15 yards. So I've gone ahead to gather from the center back of one side, from the center back to the bust apart point. And I did 2. I've not gathered the other side. So what I'll do is I'll be going to my machine to join this side that is open. That's the side that we just gathered. I'm going to join it together so it won't be rough. I'm going to flip it over and join them together, then turn them back before I join the other side and do the same thing. So I'll go to my sewing machine to run that down. I'm going to run it down till the hem, and I'll flip it back, then join the other side and do the same thing. So I'm joining it together. That is closing the slits. Yeah, I'm closing it together for one side. I'll just run it all the way till the hem. I'm making sure that they align, not to have any part short. So this will help me to cut out wherever there is longer than the other, like if it's not equal I would know from joining it together, and I would trim off the excess. So with this, it will make your job neat when you close the slits. If you leave them that way, it's still okay, but it won't be neat. If there is one thing I love about my job, is the neatness and the accuracy. So I'm going to finish this up and join the other side, also finish up the other side, and also turn it. Make sure you're using a matching thread, else it's going to show. And this kind of tulle net is not the regular one. This is a new one I saw at the market. It's not like the regular very soft one. This is soft but kind of thick, and it is a bit shiny. So I'm trying to straighten up those places that is folded, because this kind of net, the edge is folding, to make it a little bit, to make it align together. So I'll just trim out the excess. So I'm done gathering, so I'll just trim off the excess I have there. I'm going to trim it off to make sure it aligns. So I've turned it over to the right side, so this is the finishing. And I'll finish up with the other side. See how full one part is. So by the time I finish gathering the other side, it's going to be very full. So I'm going to start from that 1.5. I'm going to run it from the other part of the zipper to the 1.5 for added, and then I'm through, and I've finished up with it. I'm going to keep this skirt side, the down part, aside and start working on the upper bodies. So this is how neat it is. I'll just keep it aside and work on the up side. Now to work on the upper side, I'm going to be cutting out 2 nets. Now I've already drafted my bodies. You need your basic bodies with your waist dart. That is all you need for this pattern. So I'm just cutting out 2 nets because I want to place the 2 nets on my bodies. That is for the main fabric. So I'm cutting out my 2 nets to place on it so it will blend very well with the down. So I'm going to cut it out 2 nets for both the front and the back. That's for just the main fabric, but the lining I won't be adding 2 nets to it. So I'm stashing the center back open. So I'm just going to pin them down. So after cutting out my 2 nets, I'm going to unpin and place it on the main fabric. So I'm going to be separating the back, like opening them. Then I'm going to align the 2 nets on each of them. Even the front bodies, I will do the same thing, but I'll keep the lining aside. Now, but before I do that, I'm going to be cutting out a band of 1 inch, because she wants it to have a band. So I'm cutting out 1 inch for my band. I'm cutting out 1 inch because I'll be removing 1/2 inch from my main bodies, because I've already added 1 inch before. So I'll be taking out 1/2 inch to join back to the band, and I'll also take out 1/2 inch from the band to join back to the skirts. So I'm just cross-checking what her half length is, which is 16.5. So I'm cutting out 1 inch. While cutting out my band, I am going to add 1 inch, which I'll be cutting out 2 inches, so it is going to add back to her half length. I'll cut out for both front and the back. I will make sure it is equal. So I'll come in with a plain fabric to cut out the band of 2 inches for both front and the back. Now I'm cutting out the back first. Now I'm just going to place the old band I will cut out. To get that curve at the side, I want to get that curve at the back and at the side. I'll do the same thing for the front. I just want to get the curve, but I'm not using that band. I'll still throw it away. And I'll be cutting out 2 inches for my band. Now for the band, I'm cutting out 4 each for both lining and the main fabric. I'll be cutting out 4. But the center front will be on fold. So I'm cutting out 2 for the front. So I'm cutting out 2 for the front and 4 for the back. I'm just trying to get the curve very well so it will blend at the side. So after doing that, I'm going to unpin and I'm going to be placing the two nets on the main fabric for both front and for the back. I'm going to place them on the main fabric, and I'll be running it with maybe 0.2 inch stitch all round to just hold it down. I don't want to do this with a gum as it's going to stain the fabric, so I'll just run it on 0.2 inch round the two nets. I will do the same thing for both front and for the back. This is just to hold it down. I'm just spinning it down so it be straight. I'll do the same thing for the front. Now our front has a deep neckline. For the front, we'll have a deep neckline. The only thing that is holding our front, the only thing that will be holding our front is the band. I'll do the same thing for my front. Now, my front has a very deep neckline. The only thing holding my neckline at the front is the band. That is what will be holding it, just the band, because the neckline is big, is deep. Sorry, because the neckline is deep. This is the style of the dress. So I'm going to sew round 0.25. You can do 0.1 just to hold it down. So I'm going ahead to sew it all round on 0.25. I'm going ahead to sew it all around, even for the front. Now this is what it looks like. Now I'm going to turn it with the lining. I'm going to turn on the shoulder, the neckline for both front, because the front is two, we had to separate it because of the deep neckline, and for the back we're going to be joining the neckline, just the neckline for now. For the back, I'm going to be joining the neckline, and I will leave 0.5 inch at the center back, that is at the neckline, because of my zipper allowance. I'm going to be leaving 0.5 at the center back for my zipper allowance. I'm just going to join the neck at the back, also do the same thing for the front. Join the neck. I'll be joining the neck for the front, and I'll join the shoulders together. I'll also join the shoulders together to the front. So I've gone ahead to turn the neckline, the shoulder. I've done the neckline for the back and the front. The shoulders, I've joined the shoulders to the front and back. I've joined them together at the shoulder, and I've joined the neckline for the front and for the back. Now what I will do is to separate the center back. I will take one piece, that's for the main fabric, and the other piece, and I'm going to join them on 0.5 inch. So I'm going to be joining them on 0.5 inch. Now I said do not join your zipper allowance at the neckline, so I left that point open. So I'll just separate and pin them together to run a loose stitch at the back. I'll do the same thing for the lining, and I'll make sure that they align. Now this is the zipper allowance, the 0.5. I'll make sure that they align. No part is longer than the other, they are equal. That is what I'm going to do while pinning them down. I'll do the same thing for the lining. I'll pin them down. I'll pin the lining down. Then I'll go and run a loose stitch. On 0.5. So I've gone ahead to run a loose stitch of 0.5 for both lining and the main fabric, and I'm going to turn it over. So when I flip it over, this is what it looks like at the center back. Now I'm going to iron. I'll go ahead to iron, and I'll pin down my front neckline to align. You can as well top stitch for it to slip. So I'm going to pin my center front down, the neckline. I'm going to pin it down so it will relax while I go to my ironing table to iron it down. And after ironing, I will join the sides. I'm going to join the sides, join my band, and I will join it together with the down part, the skirt part. I'm going to join it. After closing the sides, I will join the band and join it back to the skirt. So I'll go ahead and iron. I'm not ironing the main fabric, so the net won't get burnt. I'm just going to iron inside. So our deep neckline is going to be open and will join with, so my deep neckline is going to be open and I will join with my band. So I've gone ahead to turn. I've gone ahead to join the sides, the band, and I've joined it to the down part. Now this is how beautiful it is coming out. This is how beautiful it is coming out. Now the next thing I will do is to create my ruffles for the sleeve. So I'll start off by placing my two nets on the table, and I'll make sure it is straight. This is me trying to straighten up my two nets and getting the desired length that I want. Now I made zero. Now I cut out 8 inches for the band, but later on my client said she wanted something longer, so I had to do 12. I had to go back, remove what I've done, and start gathering again for 12 inches. That is part of my job, yeah. So I'm just trying to get my two nets to lay flat for me while I cut out 8 inches. At this point, my net was dancing and I was trying to pin it down for me to get what I want. I was trying to pin it down. So I'm folding it again to get 4 inches, because on fold it will be 4, when I open it up it will be 8 inches. So that was what I did, 8 inches. So I'm just trimming out the edge that is not straight, and I'm cutting out 8 inches. So I folded it in this way to get enough net as possible. Instead of cutting out one, I just wanted to cut out plenty, so I'll just gather them and it won't be too much stress for me. So I'm going to be cutting it out this way till I get what the quantity of net I'm looking for. So yeah, I'm going to gather this. Now I've started gathering. So imagine going through all these things, all this stress, and your client said, no, I want a longer sleeve. So you have to go back and start cutting out for 12 inches and gathering it again. So after gathering, I've gotten the quantity I want. Yeah, I gathered a lot, and this is what I have. So I'm going to gather it on the sleeve, and I'm going to double it on the sleeve. This is how I'm going to be doubling it. This is how I'm going to be sewing it round the sleeve. Well, before that, I'm going to turn the sleeve inside because it's kind of rough. I can't do it this way, so I'm going to turn it inside before gathering on it. So I've gone ahead to turn my sleeve inside. This is what I did for both sleeves. So now I can gather my 2 nets round my armhole. I can gather my ruffles round my armhole. Alright, I've gone ahead to gather my ruffles round my sleeve, and I've also attached my zipper at the back, and this is me trying to fix it on my mannequin to show you the perfect finishing and the fit. So this is what it looks like after I've finished sewing it, and it came out really fine, very pretty, and it came out really well final on my client's body. So this is the end of this class. Thank you guys for watching and staying till the end. Please do not forget to subscribe, like and comment, share so others could see. Thank you guys. Please subscribe to my channel. I love you guys. Thank you for always coming back. Thank you guys for all the advice, for all the support. I love you all. Stay tuned for more interesting tutorials. Bye guys. Enjoy the final look of the dress.